Hey, have you ever wondered about that hidden chamber beneath the Shaolin Temple? They call it the Forbidden Chamber, a secret place where legends say even the masters dared not tread. Oh yes, I've heard whispers about it. They say deep beneath the temple lies a door that leads not just to another room, but to a whole world of forgotten techniques. Techniques so profound they could change you forever. Exactly. Imagine a chamber that neither welcomes light nor sound, a place where every step forward feels like stepping into a legend. They say that within this mysterious space lie 5 forbidden techniques. Can you believe that? 5 techniques? That's incredible. I recall they were known as the shadowless kick, the bone shatter palm, the iron neck coil, the reverse kai flow, and finally, the empty form. Each one more mysterious than the last. That's right, they weren't just moves or physical skills. They were so much more. They were expressions of a balance between body, emotion, and spirit. Many believe these techniques could break the limits of human ability. And it's interesting that only one monk per generation was ever chosen to try these techniques. The chosen monk would have to confront not only the physical challenges but the deep, inner struggles of self. Yes, and that's what makes the story so much more fascinating. It isn't only about mastering martial arts. It's about confronting one's own limitations. I mean, think about it. How many of us have battled our own inner demons without even realizing it? I agree. It speaks to a universal truth, that sometimes the greatest challenges are within ourselves. This chamber, cloaked in mystery, reminds us that true power comes from self-mastery. Tonight, we're diving into that legend by retracing the journey of Liang, the humble scribe whose curiosity led him deep into that forbidden darkness. In our chat, we'll unravel his steps, his fears, and finally, his unexpected awakening. I'm all in. Let's uncover the secrets behind the legend and see how Liang's story can teach us about the delicate balance between action and silence. After all, sometimes asking the right questions can be the first step on a path to change. Absolutely. So, let's start our conversation about the legend of that hidden chamber and the mysterious techniques it held. Back in the Tang dynasty, Shaolin was famed for its 13 sacred chambers, each designed to hone the body, mind, and spirit. But there was one chamber that stood apart, a lost chamber some called the Chamber of Silence. I remember hearing that this chamber was intentionally excluded from the temple's records. It wasn't just a building but a rigorous test, built to challenge the very essence of who you are. They say it was home to 5 forbidden techniques. The first, the shadowless kick, was so fast that it could evade the eye. Then there was the bone shatter palm, capable of overwhelming even the strongest defenses. And don't forget the iron neck coil, the reverse kai flow, and the enigmatic empty form. These weren't simple skills for combat, they were profound lessons in control, precision, and surrender. Exactly. The idea was that a monk who tried to master these techniques would confront not only physical limits but the deeper battles of ego and spirit. Each move forced you to push beyond the surface. Right, and history tells us that only one monk per generation was brave enough to attempt this journey. Yet, many of them vanished, swallowed by the chamber's unfathomable challenge. Their stories, passed in hushed tones among temple elders, hint at the idea that these techniques were designed to break the boundaries of both the physical and the spiritual. They remind us that true strength isn't just about performing a perfect strike. It's about understanding the balance between power and humility. Precisely. And that's why even today, this lost chamber continues to intrigue us. Not just as a relic of ancient martial tradition, but as a symbol of the battles we all face within ourselves. In reflecting on these ancient scrolls, we realize that every legend carries a piece of wisdom. This one, too, challenges us to consider the sacrifices required for true mastery. Let's talk about Liang, a monk whose story is as unique as it is inspiring. Unlike his peers who trained rigorously in the courtyard, Liang was a quiet scribe, meticulously copying old scriptures. I used to watch Liang work by candlelight nearby, always absorbed in the delicate strokes of his brush. While others showed off physical prowess, he secretly desired knowledge that went far beyond words. One evening, while restoring an ancient scroll, Liang discovered something unexpected. Hidden beneath the thick ink were delicate, almost invisible characters. They whispered a secret message. Yes, he read. The path to the true chamber lies beneath the dragon bell. This caught his attention immediately. Unlike the standard teachings, this was a clue that promised a deeper mystery. Imagine his mix of excitement and trepidation. Here he was, an ordinary scribe, suddenly faced with a riddle that could lead him to a forbidden realm within the temple. It wasn't long before Liang's curiosity overwhelmed him. That night, with a single candle for company, he searched near the dragon bell. He pressed against the cold stone floor and soon discovered that it wasn't as solid as it seemed. He found hidden stairs spiraling downward, a literal staircase into darkness. His heart pounded with anticipation and a bit of fear, but his determination shined through. In that very moment, Liang took his first step into an extraordinary destiny. Despite unspoken warnings from fellow monks, his yearning for truth pushed him forward like a beacon. And so, through his humble dedication to knowledge, Liang embarked on a daring journey into the unknown, a journey that would test not only his body but the very core of his being. His story shows us that sometimes the path to enlightenment isn't paved by force or aggression, but by the quiet strength found in relentless curiosity. Imagine the scene. Liang, alone, steps into a hidden staircase deep beneath the temple's ancient floors. Each step echoes in the silence, magnifying his heartbeat and the whispers of his own doubts. I can picture the chill in the air, how his single candle's flame wavered and danced across the walls, casting long shadows that seemed almost alive. Every step inland was like moving further away from the familiar world above, and closer to the mysteries that lay in wait. The deeper he walked, the more those inner fears began to speak. And then, he reached a door adorned with intricate carvings, 5 dragons, all twisting around each other in a dance of ancient power. It wasn't just a door, it was a gateway to his fate. Liang pressed his palms against the symbols on the door and felt an intense warmth, as if the carvings were alive. The door gradually creaked open, revealing a stark chamber bathed in an eerie, unworldly quiet. Inside, instead of the expected dojo filled with training equipment or scrolls, there was nothing but an enormous mirror mounted on the wall. It almost felt as if the room itself breathed in anticipation. The mirror reflected an astonishing sight. As Liang looked into it, he saw not one, but 5 versions of himself. Each reflection was performing one of the forbidden techniques, clearly demonstrating the art they contained. It was as if the chamber was challenging him to learn by observation, mirror images showing him countless possibilities. One version delivered a kick that seemed to slice through the wind, while another mimicked the fierce strength required to break granite. Yet the most bizarre of all was the version performing the empty form. Instead of a dynamic movement, it was a gesture of absolute stillness, a moment of complete surrender that sent a shiver down Liang's spine. In that moment, every part of Liang understood that what he was witnessing wasn't merely martial skill. It was the embodiment of a profound internal struggle between strength and stillness. Exactly. His descent into that eerie chamber wasn't just a physical journey into darkness. It was his confrontation with the deeper truths hidden within himself. Each step, each reflection, forced him to confront an inner challenge he'd never imagined. By dawn, the temple was stirred by unexpected rumblings. It seemed that the earth itself had been awakened by Liang's journey. When we monks above heard the thunder, our hearts skipped a beat. The sound was unlike anything we had ever encountered, echoing deep beneath the temple. And then, from that darkness emerged Liang, his appearance both mysterious and unnerving. He returned covered in dust, his demeanor calm and almost otherworldly. I distinctly remember the day he reappeared. The tests began immediately. We threw strikes, launched spears, and even challenged him physically. Yet, he moved with a silence and grace that defied expectations. Everything about him had changed. When asked what he had experienced, his simple response was, "Nothing." That single word resonated with more meaning than 1,000 explanations ever could. Exactly. It was evident to everyone that Liang had unlocked something profound. He had surrendered not just the need for power, but the very notion of ego, the inner self that so often drives us to seek more. His presence spoke volumes. The way he absorbed every test without reacting, catching spears as if they were gentle breezes, showed that he had embraced a state of inner peace far beyond physical mastery. And that state of peace, that surrender to the inevitable flow of life, is the very essence of what the Forbidden Chamber was meant to teach. It's not about conquering others, it's about transcending oneself. Our discussion here reflects on how each strike, each test administered by his peers, reinforced Liang's transformation from a seeker of strength to a master of inner harmony. His transformation was a reminder that true mastery is found in the quiet moments of surrender and the resilience to face one's inner self. Liang not only survived the journey but emerged transformed, a living testament to the chamber's deeper purpose. Centuries went by, and the legend of this forbidden chamber continued to spark curiosity among historians and experts alike. I've often recounted the story to my colleagues, how in 1978, a hidden corridor was unearthed during a construction project in Henan, sealed by majestic stone dragons. Remarkably, the carvings and symbols found in the corridor matched the descriptions passed down from Liang's time. It was as if the ancient legends had come alive in stone. Inside that corridor, alongside the etched images of 5 ancient techniques, there was a particularly striking inscription. The greatest power is found not in motion, but in silence. It sent ripples through the academic community. DNA tests later revealed that the remains in the chamber belonged to a man preserved perfectly for over 1,000 years, a living artifact of the lost techniques. For me, this wasn't just a fantastical story or myth. The discovery confirmed that the Forbidden Chamber was a real testament to the ancient martial traditions and the philosophies behind them. It's incredible how these lost techniques were never about promoting violence. Instead, they were meant as a pathway for conquering one's own inner chaos, a journey to master the quiet power within. This revelation has redefined how modern scholars interpret the legends. The chamber is seen as a sanctuary, an inner space where the ego is laid bare and true strength is achieved through calmness. Our conversation now turns to the idea that the eternal battle is not fought on a physical field, but within the confines of our own hearts. The inner conflict between action and silence is what truly defines us. That is the essence of the Forbidden Chamber's legacy, a challenge to all who seek knowledge, a reminder that the greatest victories are those won over oneself. As our dialogue comes to a close, let's reflect on the lessons learned from Liang's remarkable journey. I often say that the Forbidden Chamber was never intended as a battleground for conquest. Instead, it was a place built to destroy the very ego that blinds us to true power. His story teaches us that despite the allure of strength and dominance, what matters most is the inner peace we cultivate. Every single action, every deliberate pause, carried a message meant to guide the spirit. Yes, in every clash of martial might there's a silent counter, a quiet wisdom that reminds us of the importance of surrendering control, of trusting in the flow of life. Throughout our conversation, we've discovered that Liang's journey wasn't just about mastering forbidden techniques. It was about understanding that sometimes the most significant battles are the ones you fight within yourself. In that quiet moment of surrender, when Liang simply said, "Nothing," it illustrated the profound truth that relinquishing oneself can unveil a greater force, a peace that empowers rather than destroys. As we listen to the ringing of temple bells and the soft murmur of chanting, let each note remind us that the quest for knowledge requires both courage and humility. Remember, if you truly seek wisdom, ask yourself, what would you risk to uncover the depths of your own silence? For in that silence lies the purest form of strength. This has been our heartfelt discussion, a dialogue built on ancient wisdom and the recognition that sometimes, true power is found in letting go. And as we part ways today, let these insights serve as a quiet beacon guiding you on your own journey towards inner mastery.